meeting of the Bay County Veterans Affairs Committee to order, August 26th, 3 p.m. Roll call, please.
Stewart?
Present.
Pergandy?
Excuse.
Oh, excuse, yeah.
Lazars?
Present.
Van Tall?
Here.
And Bekic.
Here. So
Quorum
minutes
present.
from 6/18, we don't have July minutes. Everybody have the June minutes?
Make motion to accept the June minutes.
Yeah. Any support?
Second.
Stuart. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Citizens input.
Well, I'm still officially a citizen. Couple of things I wanted to bring up, Vaughn brought up, and Mike, I think, regarding the Community Foundation, not the Veterans Foundation, the Bay Area Foundation over here. That fund is strictly only for Vets Park. It cannot be used anywhere else, period. And I forgot to bring the doggone thing with me. However, there's a 23-page form we're working on, the CPA. Once the foundation approves it, then I can start working on using some of that fund for out here in front of the building, any other monuments throughout the county. We have to get approval from the Vets Council, but more importantly, we have to get approval from the donors.
That's Bay Area Community Foundation.
Yes.
The fund is in there. Do they have, like, you could take out 5%, or is there something in there, or interest? A lot of times it's interest plus 5%. Or,
Oh yeah, we have available $17,000, I believe. It's a good buck. Strictly for Vets Park only. Period. But once we get our paperwork done and we can get it back over to them, then I can start working on it. I'm confident that we'll get it done. It's just going to take time.
and that's not the helicopter, that's the...
That's not the no. Yeah, helicopter's different.
Along the river there.
Now we could, let's say we wanted to take out, example, $500 for Vets Park. Right now, we can't do it until the paperwork's approved. But they can funnel it through the helicopter or funnel it through somebody else. But it has to be used at Vets Park only. Fact. All right? But I'll get it done. It's going to take a little while, but I'll get it done. The only other thing I have, 2 months ago or so, 3 months ago, I brought up the fact on telephones for our 5 main drivers. They're using their own phones. If anybody remembers me bringing that up. Has anything been done on it?
Nope.
Anybody?
No.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Anyhow, what I did, and I just found this out 2 weeks ago. 2 of our drivers, with their cell phones, they only had X amount of minutes. They don't have unlimited minutes like probably most folks. And they're paying through the nose. So what I did on my own, out of my pocket, don't get excited here, I got 2 phones for these people. The cost is $10.99 per month, plus $5 for the phone. So you're looking at taxes and all the hidden fees, you're looking at probably $18 a month, $19 a month per phone. Once our minutes our billing period is up on our phone right now, I'm going to try to add that phone to the bill, reducing it from $49.50 per month to the $17, $18 a month. And I'll pay it out of my pocket, unless you guys want to approve the expense. You're looking at no more than 20 bucks a month for each phone. You guys afford it? I don't want to wait a month for an answer.
I can put it under new business if you want to talk about it in a formal meeting here, or old business, actually, it could be too.
And if the other three, these just for the main drivers, this is for the on-call folks.
Right.
And I haven't talked to the other three yet. My guess is they probably won't want it. Because right now I'm carrying 2 phones, and it's a pain in the rear end. And I'm sure they probably won't either. But if I pay for it in my pocket, it's like everything else, I will. And I would like an answer soon. I think our next billing period on our phone is, oh boy, that's 12 days. If you can give me an answer, a lickety split, I would appreciate it.
I have a question, Fred. So this is their personal phones when they get a call from the person that has the duty phone, you're saying?
Well, see, the way we do it, I take me and, well, Linda's not here, her mother died, she's in Colorado. They'll call the main phone, our phone. You'll get anywhere from 25 to 60 calls a day. And then we got a little notebook, we keep Monday's passengers, Tuesday's passengers, whatever. Say tomorrow's passengers, Wednesday, we'll call the driver Tuesday night.
Okay.
You're taking Joe and Harry and Butch and Sally and blah, blah, blah. And then they'll call all them passengers and tell them what time they're gonna pick them up. That night, the night before.
Right. So is it the same charge to send a text out to them for them to respond with a yes, I'll do it, or no, I can't do it? Just a quick text? We should use maybe a half a minute?
Oh, it doesn't matter, they're still using their minutes.
Right, but you're not conversating. Can anybody send a bulk text out? Can anybody do this driver? Yes, I got it.
Well, you can't do that because you're gonna pick this guy up at 6 in the morning and this guy up at 10 in the morning.
I was just curious.
Yeah, no, that's not doable.
And they have no home phone, obviously.
Yeah, well, yeah, but if they're in their car, because when the guy's done at the hospital with his appointment, they'll call the driver and say, okay, Harry, I'm done, come get me.
So sit up front, wait for the driver.
Something to look into.
It's a pain in the neck, but it's a necessary evil, I guess.
So Fred, are you requesting for 2 phones or more phones?
Right now, I'm just requesting for 2, the 2 which I already bought.
And who do you have those phones through?
Verizon,
Verizon.
they're on my plan.
Okay. Craig, does the county have cell phones for the employees that we could get the drivers a better deal?
Point of order.
Yeah.
This is citizens' input.
Right,
It's time for Fred to speak his piece.
right.
And
We
then
can
under
talk
new
about it
business,
under old
we can
business.
bring up the other information.
We'll bring it
Okay.
up under old business then.
Okay, if you want to do this, but I'm telling you, I don't think anybody's going to beat the price I got. If you can't, fine. But I already paid for the phone, I already got the phone numbers. So them 2 phones, I'm locked in.
Okay.
And all set? Anybody else? Public comments, Mr. Douglas.
Okay, Jamie Davis, myself, and Fred went to the Michigan Veteran Trust Fund for schooling. 2 things came up at the Michigan Veterans Trust Fund that is pertinent to Bay County. Once, and I know nobody probably explained it to Crystal, that every application that goes to the Michigan Veterans Trust Fund has to be signed by 1 or 2 of the board members. They cannot be approved by sending them down there without our signature on them. That's the first thing. The second thing is that the county approved $125,000 out of the Soldiers and Sailors Relief Fund to buy a building. By state law, this is not viable. They are not allowed to use that money for anything but Once it's been approved, it has to be used for veterans. It cannot be used to build monuments, memorials, or anything like that. It has to be strictly to aid veterans in need. And so this is something I want to bring up to your attention because it's going to go a little farther than this. I know that the county board approved it, but the money was allotted for soldiers and sailors, and that's where it should be used, not for building monuments and memorials and stuff like that. We already have enough that we can't take care of, that we got to build any more. Thank you.
Anybody else wish to speak? Otherwise, we'll close public comment. Petitions and Communications, remodel update. Mr. Boulay,
Yeah,
remodel
so-
update.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I wanted to put on there another update for this month. I know I updated the committee last month as far as where we were in the process of construction. And Crystal, Mark, and myself toured the first floor this morning and just wanted to pass along some noticeable changes that are up. So walls are constructed and the mudding's being taken place. The company is working at a good pace. We've already ordered some various, decor for walls and, pictures and coat rack and things along those lines. So those items will start to be showing up. Next week, we're due to coordinate with, depending on how the company is with construction, beginning to get the furniture and those types of things placed. So things are going to start coming together relatively quickly once a few more things, painting and those types of things are done. The electricity's already ran and those types of items, but things are moving along pretty good. So it's difficult to kind of look in there when the shades are pulled, but oftentimes, we're kind of squatting to get an update. But today we walked through and got a key and got in there. So everything's coming along very nicely. I think everyone will be very pleased with the final result and how that's going, and the turnout. So I'm always open to any questions if anybody has any.
If you want a tour, I don't know if they're working down there today. I got a chance to look at it last week. I think I was there a couple weeks ago. If you want to take a look in there, if there's somebody in there. But put your hard hat on, though, if you go in there. Yeah.
True.
Be careful.
True.
Any questions about the remodeling? Okay. Third quarter transportation statistics. Come out. Any questions on?
Move to receive.
Motion to receive and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, old business. So I put the phone issue under old business. So discussion, recommendations, motions. Marilyn?
I have a question, which was under old business in the past few months. I just want to ask John if he did train Mark.
Well, I can train them how to do the funerals.
Yes.
I can. But right now with the remodeling, it's just hit and miss. Right after they move in the new offices, they'll be better suited to be able to just take one or two, get them done. Instead of getting, right now they pile up because there's just no place to do it. And once you start them, you don't want to be interrupted. So once it gets down to just like weekly stuff, then it'll be right back to Mark and Crystal at that point.
Okay. Do you have a date when, an end date at all?
Well, I'm hoping by the end of September at the latest. It all depends on when they get in the new digs. Now, once the officers are in, here's Mark's office, here's Crystal's office. Everything's up to date, and then here's all you got to do.
Okay. Thank you.
That'd be very quick. I don't see it taking even. It just depends when we get into the offices where they can actually get on the computer and not be interrupted. Because when they start that, you want to get to a point where you got 2 or 3 that came in, and they take care of that, so somebody could wait for like 5 minutes. As it is right now, you can get 20 or 30 from Gephardt's or a funeral home. And if you start working on them, then you have the veterans that need help with assistance with food, water, gas, emergencies. They could end up waiting, and we don't want to make them wait. We want it so that when they come in, you can just take care of a couple and get them done quick.
Okay, thank you.
Other old business? Any discussion on the phone question? Greg?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, on the budget, there is a cell phone line item. Currently, that value is for the current staff is set at $160. Right now, we've exceeded that. We're okay because categorically there are other things that we can, move money from just within those categories. But if there just a couple points of I guess caution, if the county does, we do have a county cell phone program. It's going to be typically the purchasing agent, Francis Moores, who oversees the purchasing and deals whomever they have a purchasing agreement with cell phones. More than likely, that's who they would go with. I don't know for 100% certainty, but I'm willing to bet that it's more than what Fred is paying. So we'd probably be subject to whatever that is. And also FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, county cell phones are subject to the Freedom of Information Act. So somebody has to see records off from those phones. Whether or not that it would actually happen, I'm just stating for the record that is a possibility when the county does pay for the bill for a cell phone.
But if we're reimbursing Fred for cell phones, wouldn't, because we're paying him as an outside vendor, maybe they wouldn't be able to do that FOIA request? Find out, Fred called John, he called Jim, the individual veterans that he would be calling, would that be outside of the FOIA request?
I'd have to check to see if we're able to do that. I want to see if that is even a functional logistical workaround to as opposed to us paying for it. I would have to go back and ask some questions for a couple different people.
Let me qualify the phones. These are not your typical phones where you see people walking through bars looking at their phones. These are standard flip phones. You cannot get on the internet, not like that.
Sure.
Just a telephone, that's it.
I can certainly find out as much information as I can quickly and communicate that out.
In our Michigan Association of Counties meeting, we had a FOIA session.
Yep.
Text messages, emails, phone calls are all FOIA, you can FOIA all of those. So if they're just talking about transportation and stuff like that, fine, but if you get off on, libel or slanderous talk, then that can be FOIA'd.
Yes.
So then we're liable, county's liable.
Well, not only
Greg
that,
has to do the FOIA thing.
Yes.
it's not only that, it's just that if the veterans that are receiving the rides, it's nobody's business except for the vet's transportation. It's not for some disgruntled person out there to find out that, hey, you gave a ride to this guy, and I don't think he deserved it.
Yeah.
But the vet's counsel or whoever decided the guy deserved the ride, he needed the ride. But if that could come up in a FOIA request, then you can have people.
If he was a vendor, I was wondering, if he, like an outside vendor, would it, I guess that's the question, if that would be FOIAble also, if we just paid him directly as a vendor.
Yeah, I think if the
I
county,
believe it is.
the county pays for it, Mr. Chairman, I think it would be FOIAble, especially if it's county business, At least that's my understanding from Amber Johnson, our corporation counsel. But,
I'd
I know
agree with that.
they're vital to the work that you're doing, so just have to be very careful that, whatever you text or, email on your device is going to be public, so not that, I don't think there'll be anything wrong happening, but you just have to be very careful that you don't make a mistake.
Great.
And most certainly, the committee can authorize to pursue this, make any necessary budget adjustments. I'm just informing the committee that more than likely we would have to go through the purchasing agent, process it through those steps, and just inform the committee that if the county does pay for a cell phone, that the phones themselves are subject to FOIA, as the chairman pointed out, various texts and things, if those were being conducted. It's just more of an informational item, just for decision-making purposes.
And to be honest with you, kind of surprised these days, we don't have cell phones with minutes on there. I was sitting next to an 85-year-old lady this weekend at the pool, and she was on her Facebook on hers. I have that on mine, so I'm kind of surprised that I have cell phones. And then, I guess not trying to be jaded here, but when you volunteer, there's certain things that are expected of a volunteer. That if you're going to volunteer, you would have certain things. Transportation to get to the place you need to get the vehicle, appropriate driver's license, the phone so they can reach it. I don't know that if we have to talk about this, if we're going to open this, because once we provide 2 people, then we're going to provide 3, 4, 5, and 6. Just don't know if this is something we're probably should look at. It can be expensive. I know it's needed, but is this something we're not open to that? We may have volunteers that don't have a reliable car, so they can't here to get to the vehicle we have. So do we pay for a taxi for them to come in to drive the van? I'm not sure how far I want to go with paying for things like that, other than the duty phone.
Other than what?
The duty phone, the on-call phone. But for the volunteers' phones, I would think, or could we look at as a committee, the minute phones, and they're only to be used for that. Maybe we look at the minute phone instead of, like Craig, I agree with you, it's very expensive, I'm sure, for those phones. Don't have to worry about them being used improperly, being damaged. I'd say I volunteer a lot of places, and I've never been provided the phone at any places I volunteer. It's one of the things that's kind of expected of a volunteer. I'm not trying to be negative towards it, it just seems like that's one of the things you'd be expected to have.
I agree
As
with
with
you.
a valid driver's license.
I disagree.
There's something to look at. How many drivers do we have currently? 16 or 20? I mean, there's quite a few.
Well, they're only looking at 2 phones.
Right now.
That's
Right
today.
now.
Today there's 2.
Yep.
What's going to happen once we pay for those 2 phones?
Well,
We have tomorrow.
we'll have to see what happens in the future. We can't predict that. And they can pass the cell phones on to their drivers.
Yeah.
I mean, when I worked for the county, I was given a cell phone. And because I didn't want to use my minutes up. And I can see what Fred is saying, it's costing them. Well, why are volunteers paying for something they volunteer for? As far as simple as a cell phone, which the county already has a program.
Yeah, but the difference is they're workers for the county, they're expected to be at work, and needed to be at work, so that's a different story. You have a job commitment there, the county relies on you to be there as part of the employees. This is a volunteer with a large bank of volunteers. And I use this suggestion, I've been a volunteer firefighter for 31 years. They don't pay for my gas, they don't pay for my vehicle maintenance. I show up at the scene, I provide my phone so they can call me. They do provide the equipment.
Well-
So I'm just wondering if this is something I want to get into. I know we need the drivers, I agree with that. But how far do I want to take this? If we provide 2 drivers on the phone, do we have to provide all the drivers on the phone? Or equivalents?
But the taxpayers pay their taxes for part of this veterans millage.
But like John was saying, how do you regulate the phone for official business?
That would be up
How
to
would you possibly do
Fred,
that?
because he gets all the phone calls. He would be responsible for the phones. And if something happened, it'd come back to Fred to explain to us what has happened on that phone or to the phone.
To make this easier, I can't believe that. I There's only 2 phones. I'll pay for the doggone things out of my pocket. I pay for the phones. They're in my name. If you want to sometime reimburse me some dollars for something or other, fine. If you don't want to, that's okay. The other guys probably won't want them. These 2 did because they only have X amount of minutes per month. That was the only reason for that.
So any more discussion? No motions?
Talk to Francis and look into it. We talk to Francis and look into it, look at the county and see.
Okay.
Maybe we said maybe there's a cheaper way to do it through purchasing.
I would defer back to Craig and let Craig check with Francis and see what the cost would be.
Maybe we can get minute phones like they're using now, cheaper. I guess I've never had a minute phone. Since it's cheaper just to get a regular phone.
Yep.
Yeah, if it's just a flip phone, just text, well, even text would be good on it. Just text in minutes would be sufficient for the drivers. They don't need the big smartphones with the email and everything else. Just a pure basic phone like Fred is saying.
If we, that's what I said. I think if we can do that, I think the ones the county has are full blown. I mean, they're just.
They should be able to get,
Can you get the simple ones?
Yeah, it'd be less expensive too.
Well, not less expensive. We can get those. That would be pretty reasonable. We can do that.
Yeah, most certainly, if it's the wish of the committee, I can certainly circle around with Francis, give some options if there are some, what they are, what the costs are, and for those things, and certainly bring that back. Absolutely.
yeah.
If they're using minute phones now, if they're still available. I guess what Fred says he got 2, so they must be available. But I know the phones that the county has, they're expensive. They're not cheap.
No.
They're not $160 a year. They're close to probably that for 2 a month, so they're not cheap.
No.
So for the future, it doesn't mean it's justify the cost, is what I'm saying. The cost justify the means. Is it going to be worthwhile to pay that kind of money, or can we get the minute phones?
I will certainly find out.
Yes.
Any other old business? New business?
I know Keith's going to brief next month on the 17th at the Vet Center.
Yeah.
But I can brief a little bit. I've been over there a lot the last 2 weeks with inmates who have helped clean up and tear up. We've filled the dumpster, I think, 2 times now with labor from the sheriff's office by using the inmate volunteers, trustees. They've been enjoying it. Keith's been feeding them through donations through the city. I know that guy's barbecue, the Real Seafood, several different businesses have donated food for the guys to come over there. They'll go there about 6 o'clock to about 9 or so. They work about an hour and a half, have dinner, and then work about an hour and a half. But we'll be over there again tonight. It's looking really good. Taking out all the grunt work, just pulling nails from boards, trying to save them in case they need anything's 2x6 or 2x4. They've been moving a lot of things, sweeping up, getting ready for the builders. So all the stuff that would cost us a lot of money for tear out and cleanup is being done by those guys, and then they'll be prepared for the actual building. It looks really good over there. They're getting ready to open up the 2 buildings. So, but we're usually there, I'll be there between 6 and 9. So he's going to brief us next month. And I know Mike Vergani can't be here today, but he had several questions that I gave to Keith, and Keith's going to be prepared to brief him at next month's meeting. Craig and I, so there's 5 questions there. He'll be prepared to brief the board on those next month.
So 17th, we'll plan on him being here.
Yes, sir.
Miscellaneous. We do have one issue we're working on with this veteran, I think I mentioned it before, who's on the First Presbyterian Church wall as being a Bay City veteran and was killed in action, possibly an MIA. And we're checking on that with the Federal Registry to see if it is, in fact, he was a Bay City veteran and was killed in World War II, because then he should be out on the wall out front here then too. In the past, I know we've added some Afghani and Iraqi veterans. Actually, I paid for a couple of them. Place from Taos, there's a guy up in Taos that does it for a fairly good rate. There used to be a guy down the street here or over by the cemetery that did it, but he's not doing it anymore. I don't know if anybody knows of any that does engraving on walls. We probably would have to put it out for bids and see what we can get. But it was fairly reasonable, a couple $100 or so. So we'll check and find out for sure. Mr. Ewell, Y-U-I-L-L, and it looks like he may have been killed in Pearl Harbor from what I'm seeing. And it was MIA that didn't find the body. So, And the clerk doesn't have any records of the death certificate because he was not killed in Bay County, and it was MIA, so they never really had the body either. But we'll see if we get anything from Graves Registry, I guess it is, or from the federal government, which takes a little while to move sometimes. Any other miscellaneous announcements? Great.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a selfless announcement. One of the other hats that I get to wear as part of being the county is over at the Animal Services and Adoption Center. And last week, we kicked off a program in which volunteers can come over to the shelter, get matched up with a dog, and take that dog or a couple dogs, depending on the time that they have, for walks. We do have a couple veterans that are coming over currently, and could always see more. We've got another orientation tomorrow at noon, and we're looking at future. We've received quite a good feedback from when we put it on our Facebook page, and one of the individuals that's really been integral in getting the program kicked off is a veteran himself, and he's been a tremendous asset to the program and getting things going. So anyway, just wanted to put that plug out there that we're looking for people to come out and volunteer and walk these dogs out and get them some exercise and a break from their kennels. It's extremely valuable for those dogs to get out. So it means the world to them. So it's a terrific program, and I'm happy to see it have such good success right now. But I'd like to see it continue and build. So that's my announcement.
There's a veteran in the paper, I think, with a service dog, and my mother's over at Bay Shores, and people bring dogs in there, and people over there enjoy seeing the pets come in, and as therapy animals, therapy pets.
Yep.
So we have some to adopt all the time.
Absolutely. They're more than welcome to adopt while they're there and walking and get attached. Absolutely. But if not, that's not the purpose of the program. The purpose of the program is to have, match up a volunteer with the dog, spend some time with it, get the dog out, enjoy sunshine and grass, and just be a dog for a while, and that like I said, it reduces their stress, anxiety. It's very valuable for them. So
Plus cats.
Absolutely.
But 10% of the population is allergic to cats. I heard that on the news.
Interesting.
I'm one of those people, so can't do the cat thing. Any other announcements? Mr. Douglas.
I just want to inform you that Veterans Rummage Shop will be moving. We will be moving either in the old NEPS building at 810 Washington, or we'll be building in the old dime store on the corner of Midland and Henry. We have those two options that we are looking into this weekend, and we should know by the first of next week of which one we're going to take. The one that on Henry and Midland is a veteran, and he contacted me today, and he'll give it as one hell of a discount for us. And all the money that we take in goes strictly to the homeless shelter.
I was out at Yeti Yogurt the other day. I don't know if everybody's been into the Yeti Yogurt out by the Walmarts. He's a veteran. It says he's a veteran. That's what it says. And he donates some of his money back to veteran causes. But it's pretty good yogurt. It's right next to the Walmart store, that strip mall out there off of Wilder. We're plugging businesses now. Any other announcements? Motion to adjourn would be in order.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
17th of September is our next meeting.